Good evening, my dear friend. Welcome back to Dreamize Story, where each night we weave gentle tales to guide you into a deep, restful sleep with soothing whispers, relaxing sounds, and a touch of heartfelt magic. This is your safe haven, a space to unwind your mind, let your imagination soar, and allow the worries of the day to fade as you drift into peaceful slumber. Tonight, we embark together on an emotional journey, a story of family, childhood memories, a mother, a father, and the simple dreams that once flourished amid the fields of a distant countryside. Familiar sounds and hazy images will lead you through this path, from days of hardship to moments of loss and silent hope. My heart trembles as I share this, a blend of joy and sorrow that has shaped who I am, and I hope it touches you too. When you're ready, find a cozy spot, perhaps a soft bed, a warm blanket, or any place where you feel safe and at ease. Close your eyes, let your breath flow naturally, and feel your body slowly release tension from head to toe. Our journey begins right now. Take a moment to sink deeper into your space. Let your breath drift like a gentle breeze over the fields, melting your body into the surface beneath, washing away all stress. Relax your shoulders, soften your face, let your arms and legs grow heavy and still. There's no rush, no need to strive. Simply allow the air to move in and out naturally, like a rhythm lulling you into peace. Tonight, the night will guide you, wrapping you in its tender embrace, leading you through distant memories that stir both comfort and ache within me. Release your chest. Let go of every ripple in your mind. Feel your muscles dissolve under the weight of relaxation. You are safe here. Your mind can rest. Picture your troubles as thin smoke, dissipating with each breath, leaving you floating like you're nestled on a soft cloud, gliding through a quiet night sky. Perhaps a wave of gratitude will rise, gratitude for still being alive, for breathing, for holding on to beautiful memories. And even if you feel nothing extraordinary, just being here in this moment is more than enough. Relax a little more. Let your heart connect with tonight's story, a melancholic melody echoing from the depths of my homeland's past, filled with love, pain, and unspoken dreams that linger in my soul. There are memories that need no recall, for they are already etched into my heart. I was born in a small rural village, a place with nothing remarkable save for the vast fields stretching to the horizon, the dusty red dirt roads, and days so peaceful they stirred a quiet ache within me. My childhood home sat nestled among the rice paddies, surrounded by the rustling wind, the morning chirps of birds, and the sweet, earthy scent of dry straw after each harvest. Every afternoon, the golden sunset painted the fields, and I'd sit on the porch, listening to the crickets' soft symphony, a sound that felt like a lullaby from the earth itself. There, my grandparents lived out most of their lives, leaving indelible marks on my soul. My grandfather was a quiet man, his hands roughened by years wading through muddy fields. Before the rooster crowed each dawn, he'd be out tending the rice, sometimes sinking knee-deep into the mire to check every stalk. My grandmother, a primary school teacher at a tiny village school just 300 meters away, with its weathered tile roof and worn wooden benches, hurried home after lessons to cook and care for the family, her gentle smile a beacon of warmth amid our struggles. My grandparents' home was a humble world brimming with love. The old wooden walls were adorned with faded calendars, alongside a handmade Christmas tree crafted from dry branches and ribbons. The fireplace glowed steadily, casting warmth over chilly nights. They had 4 children, 2 boys, 2 girls, and during those tough years, everyone lived under one roof. Meals were simple: rice mixed with cassava, a handful of salted peanuts, or a bowl of crispy fried shrimp poured over plain rice. Yet the flavors were richer than any lavish feast. The laughter of siblings, my grandmother's storytelling, and my grandfather's kind eyes turned every meal into a small celebration. I still recall helping my grandfather weed the fields, my hands caked with mud, my clothes dusted with straw, yet I felt no burden, only joy. We sang folk songs together, and he'd occasionally share tales of past harvests, his voice trembling with pride and a hint of sorrow. At night, the family gathered under the flickering oil lamp. Grandmother graded papers. My mother set up a study table for us kids, tending a boiling pot of sweet potatoes, while grandfather silently chopped firewood outside, the rhythmic thud of his axe against dry bamboo echoing like the heartbeat of time. Among the 4 siblings, my mother was the only one to pursue teaching, inheriting her mother's passion and fulfilling my grandfather's quiet dream. Despite our family's poverty, She persevered through university with astonishing determination. I remember her recounting my grandfather's words, "Study, my child, so you won't have to toil in the fields like us. A life of the mind is hard, but it spares you the mud and sweat." She took those words to heart, balancing studies, tutoring, and family duties without a single complaint. My mother was reserved yet profound, shouldering every hardship silently, much like her morning ritual of tidying the house. When she left the village to become a daughter-in-law in the city, she carried a heart full of love and an equal measure of endurance. Each visit to her parents' home saw her grow quiet, sitting for hours, gazing at the fields, as if seeking lost peace. In the city, she was no longer the gentle teacher. She became a daughter-in-law to a harsh mother-in-law and a wife to a volatile, idle husband. This new life, once hoped to ease her burdens, became a journey of tears and silent sacrifice. My mother married at just 24 to a man, my father, whom she met in a brief romance she trusted deeply. But the marriage shattered her dreams. Living with her in-laws, she faced a mother-in-law who scrutinized every detail. I still hear her late-night whispers, shared after everyone slept, scoldings for a slightly bland soup, reprimands for forgetting to wipe her feet before entering, or mockery for serving dinner 10 minutes late. These small grievances, repeated endlessly, chipped away at her young heart like relentless rain eroding stone. Worse, my father was far from an ideal husband. His temper flared often, fueled by alcohol and late nights with friends at the local bar. Each evening, my mother waited anxiously, her hope dimming until his motorcycle's headlights turned into the alley. Some nights, he stumbled home reeking of liquor, shouting harsh words that pierced the silence. She endured in silence, her strength a quiet fortress. As a child, I hid in a corner, clutching my sibling, tears streaming as I felt helpless. Once, in the dead of night, she drove us out into the darkness, her sobs mingling with the engine's hum, lost in a city that offered no refuge. Crying from exhaustion,
hurt, and a loneliness no one could heal.
Yet my mother never gave up. Her teacher's salary was meager, but she ensured we had food, clothes, books, and school uniforms. She pinched every penny while my father squandered. I'll never forget the early 2000s when flat-screen TVs first hit the market. Without consulting anyone, he marched to an electronics store and ordered one, driven by pride to match his friends. When it arrived, my mother froze in shock. He shrugged. Take the motorcycle? Pay in installments? Our only asset vanished, replaced by a TV that brought no joy, only a hollow silence to our home. His gambling trips to Cambodia, passport in hand, left my mother pacing in dread, each day adding a new worry, a new scar to her spirit. My mother bore this burden with unspoken devotion. Beyond our education, she covered my father's cigarettes, morning coffee, drinking sprees, lottery tickets, and gambling debts. As a high schooler, I began to see and feel the pain. I resented him, wondering how he could live so carelessly. I tried advising him gently, then raised my voice in frustration. He snapped, "You're insolent." A wall rose between us, and I withdrew, silent and disconnected. Still, my mother pressed on. After years of saving, we moved to a modest house, small, unpretentious, but ours. No more mother-in-law's scrutiny, no more tear-streaked meals. Yet life remained tough. My father drank less with age, but his vices persisted, jobless and unreliable, while my mother continued teaching, carrying the family's weight. I grew up, took a job, and busied myself, pushing aside my sorrows. My younger sibling, still in school, stayed timid, often crying quietly. Then came the COVID pandemic. We were confined, unable to work or study. Strangely, the house felt different. With no outings, my father paused his drinking and old habits. We shared meals again, sparse in words, but warm in spirit. But one evening, my mother's phone rang, news of my grandmother's passing. Roads were blocked, quarantine enforced. We couldn't return. She collapsed, and the house fell silent, heavy with grief. 10 days later, my grandfather,
whose life was spent tending fields and loving his wife, followed her. In just 10 days, my mother lost both parents. Those days, she ate little, spoke less, and wept in solitude. The small house felt eerily empty. I felt powerless, trying to comfort her with words about their peace, their freedom from pain or loneliness. But I knew no words could mend her heart. Memories flooded back. Summer visits with my grandmother preparing warm blankets and delicious meals. My grandfather peeling coconuts for us. His gentle smile at her. Their love, unspoken yet abundant, mirrored the blooming dragon fruit seasons.
The pandemic waned and quarantine lifted. We hurried to the village, standing before two fresh graves, speechless. Everything was now memory, yet I knew memories never die. They live in the stories I tell, in the sleep you drift into. More trials, separations, and losses, and small miracles await in future nights. Our family stabilized, but the wounds in my mother's heart lingered, like the fields of old, silently weathering cold winds. One afternoon, I visited, sitting with my mother by the fields. She spoke of my grandparents' days, their humble yet joyful meals, and how my grandmother taught her patience. Tears fell, but a smile broke through, like sunlight piercing clouds. I held her hand, promising to stay and share her load. The wind whispered through the fields, carrying my grandparents' enduring love. That night, lying on my old bed, I heard the crickets, feeling peace return like a gift from the past, stirring a bittersweet warmth in my chest. Childhood memories resurfaced. Lazy summer afternoons swinging in a hammock, listening to my grandmother's fairy tales. My grandfather pruning the garden, the bright laughter of siblings. On rainy days, we mended clothes together, sharing worn-out pieces. Each memory was a fragment, weaving into my heart like a wordless countryside melody. My mother sat nearby, her eyes misty yet radiant, recounting my grandmother's teaching dreams and the grown students she once guided. I recall following my grandfather to the fields, learning to plant seeds, pull weeds, feeling the cool earth beneath my fingers. He taught me patience, explaining that rice, like people, needs time to grow. In the afternoons, he shared war stories and famine days, his voice quivering with pride and a trace of pain. I listened, eyes wide, seeing his spirit in every rice stalk, a connection that filled me with awe and a quiet sadness. My grandmother was a pillar of strength, despite her small frame.
I picture her sewing by oil lamp light, hands swift, humming lullabies. She spoke of her youth, overcoming poverty with my grandfather to build a family from nothing. Those tales were life lessons, teaching me love and sacrifice, mirrored in how she nurtured each grandchild with her whole heart, a love that still echoes in my tears. My mother grew up with this guidance, carrying it to the city. I remember her patient voice as she tutored me, her tired eyes belying her resolve. She recounted university days, walking kilometers to class with cold rice wrapped in banana leaves. That hardship, she said with a smile, forged her will, a smile that hid the weight she bore, leaving me with a mix of admiration and guilt. As my father's behavior worsened, our family faced deeper crises. I recall nights of my mother crying behind closed doors, hiding her tears to shield us. She borrowed money for his debts, worked extra hours, yet always smiled for us. Only as an adult did I grasp the depth of her sacrifice, a realization that brought both pride and a pang of regret for not seeing it sooner. The pandemic brought loss, but also a chance to heal. Simple family meals during lockdown rekindled laughter. My father drank less, and I began speaking to him again, though briefly. My mother watched, eyes glistening, as if glimpsing a fragile hope, a hope I clung to with cautious joy. After my grandparents' funerals, I visited the village more often, bringing gifts for my mother and listening to her old stories. Each trip lightened her burden, her face softening as the green fields stood as proof of my grandparents' eternal love, a sight that filled me with both comfort and a lingering ache. One day, my mother shared a dream of building a new home, free from my father's old shadow. I promised to help, and we started planning. Laughter returned, chasing away years of darkness, and I felt a surge of determination mixed with the fear of failing her. Tonight, lying in bed, I hear the wind through the fields, imagining my grandparents' smiles from afar. My mother sleeps beside me, her steady breathing a gentle lullaby. I feel peace, knowing that despite great losses, family love remains an unquenchable flame, a flame that warms me even as tears well up in silent gratitude. The story closes with the moonlit countryside fields, crickets blending with my heartbeat. I dream of my grandparents,
my mother, and happier days, understanding that these memories are my eternal refuge, a whisper from my homeland, guiding me into a deep, healing sleep. As I drift, I carry the weight of their struggles and my own, a bittersweet load that shapes my dreams with both sorrow and hope. As you rest, let the story mirror your own journey. The family memories, my mother's sacrifices, and the love of our homeland are lessons in strength and hope. But for me, they are fragments of a past I recount with a heavy heart, like someone gazing back through a veil of tears. I wish it were all a dream where the pain, my mother's tears, and the wounds in our family could vanish. Yet, it's the stark truth, a truth I cannot alter, one that leaves me with a mix of love and regret. You might empathize with these feelings, or perhaps find the sadness I share unsettling, and I respect that. Still, I'm grateful you're here, listening to me, sharing this emotional voyage. Let these thoughts carry you, guiding you into a peaceful slumber.
Release your hold now. The story fades, leaving the night's tender embrace to comfort my weary heart. A heart burdened by memories I can't escape. The cricket's soft hum, the wind rustling through the fields, and the gentle crackle of the fireplace lull you and me into a profound sleep. Sink into the warmth of your bed, your body heavy, my mind drifting like clouds, carrying a longing for a different past. You are safe, and I find a flicker of peace, wrapped in the breath of our homeland, the scent of dry straw and Mother Earth, sensations that still pulse within me. Dream softly, my friend. Welcome the silence, letting it ease the wounds, and sleep deeply, sleep peacefully, carried by this memory-laden journey toward dawn. Good night, my friend. Thank you for being with me tonight, a presence that lightens my soul amid the shadows.